Blessings, thank you. That was beautiful. And so much love and blessings to each and every one of you. You're welcome. You are welcome. How about that holiday winter solstice candle lighting we had last Sunday? Wow, that wow is right. The room was filled with such sacredness, such profound energy, intentional energy, that I continue to feel right here and now. How many of you are feeling it right here and now? Went all the week through, didn't it? And it is definitely within this room right now. And I do want to know, I should have reprinted it in this week's bulletin. Last week we had a long list of names of everybody that put their energy and intention and effort together to make that huge service possible. So I would just like to say thank you. I know several of you are in this room today, and I just want to say how much I so appreciate it, and everyone appreciates everything that everybody did to create such an incredible service. We are at our last Sunday celebration service of 2015. Let's just take that in for a moment. Wow, a whole year, a whole year. So let's go to go ahead and put the first slide up there. That is the topic of our discussion, our celebration this morning. We're going to light up our intentions this morning. We're going to go deep. We're going to come out clearer, motivated, understanding, filled with compassion and love. So let's go to the next slide. But first, let's say this. Go ahead and read it. Sharky here wants to know if he's had any peanut butter recently, because he's allergic to peanut butter. And poor Rick here is like, oh, my New Year's resolution was to be completely and totally honest. What to do. So the reason why I put that up there is today and every day, it's really not about resolutions, and we're going to talk about that and why that is. Today and every day, it's about intentions, and that comes from a different place. That's sparked by our relationship with the sacredness of the divine within. Resolutions, I tend to think, come from external validation, comes from brain thinking, how do we need to measure up? And usually we use an outside of measuring device, outside of ourselves. But intentions, baby, those are born from within. Those are born through this dynamic relationship with the divine and with the love and the clarity and the knowledge of who we really are. And that's what we're going to dive into this morning. So Rick there, poor Rick, he made a resolution to be honest. And as we all know, anytime we decide to do something, we're given many opportunities to show up and be that, right? They call it putting it to the test. I just call it life. That's pretty much how it goes. So let's go to the next one. My absolute favorite right now. How many of you out there are Star Wars fans? Anybody? Yep. So it's a family tradition for us. So we all got together on Christmas Day, and the whole family went out and saw the new Star Wars movie. And I absolutely love this picture. He's saying, try to get my dark side. And we're going to talk about why that's so important when we go to knowing and uncovering and setting our intentions this morning. Is there's a part of us that we have to also truly embrace and know and befriend. And that's what we like to term our dark side. So that's why I added that. Not only is it funny, but we also need to embrace and allow our dark side to be just as celebrated, just as known, just as understood, because it's all a part of us. There is nothing outside that isn't the divine, folks. Love that. So let's go to the next slide. So here we go, Brene Brown, the magic is in the mess. So you're probably thinking, how are we going to do this? How are we going to dive into understanding the clarity of our intentions, embrace the dark side, come out feeling rejuvenated and clear and passionate about who we are and who we are becoming and who we are choosing to become? I loved Art's reading from this morning because it's all about the quality of our choices. And we get to right now decide the quality of our choices. And so Brene says the magic is in the mess. Now, what does she really mean by that? Why do we need to talk about that? Anybody got an idea? What does that mean about that? Because what I'm going to talk about is when we are stretched, when we are called to go within and truly touch on that inner power and that connection with the divine, when we are tested like we never thought we could be tested before, what happens? There is this radiant explosion of awareness and clarity, this greater understanding of our relationship to the divine that comes out of that mess. That's the magic. That's the sparkle. That's the radiance. How many have you been there? Right on. I would venture to say that we've all been there. Many, many, many times, because that's what life is all about. And it's not about becoming so aware that we skate around it. It's not about maneuvering so that, mess up ahead, let me just go around it. Let me go around this mess. See me, I'm like slalom skiing here, going around each mess when, boom, we end up hitting a tree when that happens, right? When we're visualizing and focusing on the messes that we're trying to skate around, we end up hitting one directly. And there's a reason for that, because the magic is in the mess. The magic, that connection, that understanding, that clarity, that passion, that drive, that which turns us on just a little bit more is found in that scenario, in that circumstance. And so it's not really about maneuvering to get around it. It's about knowing the truth of our being as we step through it. Because that's what the world needs right now. You know, we got some messes going on, and it's not really about cleaning it up. It's about shining our light, our radiance, and truly realizing that the mess is a gift. It's not a mess, actually, at all. It's ending up being a true and total gift. So it's about allowing us to expand. That mess enlightens us. It raises our vibrational alignment. So much so, and in such a way that we experience it differently when it comes around again. You know, I often talk about how we experience life in a spiral, and we tend to come back around to those elements that are familiar to us, but we're different. We've grown, we've evolved. We're going to have a different experience, especially if we have chosen the quality of that decision. If we have increased our awareness, if we've allowed the magic to take over and allow us to become greater in our beingness and in our connection with the divine, then the quality of our choices the next time it comes around are going to reveal so much greatness, so much good, so much vitality. So it's about shining the light, on all that stuff that allows it to glimmer and be so much more radiant. Let's go to slide 5. So I truly believe this, and I'm going to read it to you, and I want you to all take it in for a minute. It says, "Dear human, you've got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. That's where you came from, and that's where you will return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity. Lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up. Often, you didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed and fabulous, and then to rise again into the remembering." Does that resonate with you? Yes. Amen. Yes. We're already perfect. We're already unconditional love because we are the children of the divine, of the utmost high. That's how we came into existence. We're here to live. We're here to live so that we can evolve and learn and grow through the magic of the mess. And what then does that mean? It means it's not about judgment. It's not about criticism. that creates a sense of separation. It's not about that at all. It's about embracing. It's about embracing those times and embracing those experiences, embracing those messes as the divine child of God that we are, and shining our light on it that allows and enables us to make those higher quality choices. That's what it's all about. And so James Daly says this about it. I believe that we all initially desire a wonderful, joy-filled life with the absence of challenges, issues, and pain. Unfortunately, that's really not what life is all about. I mean, has anybody in this room been able to live their life thus far without any challenges, without any pain? Is there anybody out there? Without any issues? No issue zone for anybody? No? So he's saying that's really not what it's about. Over the course of our lifetime, we realize that challenges and even pain play an important part of our spiritual and emotional maturation. Things and situations that are simply given to us without any struggle, now I'm going to put that in quotes because there's lots of different ways that we can perceive struggle, and that's a part of our spiritual maturation. So with that struggle, quote unquote, bear with them little value, while those with the highest degree of challenge, once achieved, become our most cherished successes, haven't they? Can you think back, maybe even this year, 2015, of any challenge, quote unquote, any opportunity to kind of rise above, go within, become clearer, that now we can actually celebrate as a great success?
Maybe yesterday?
Yesterday, yes. I do mean yesterday, yes. Right on, sister. So real joy, real success, to me, real clarity and awareness and evolution is experienced through those victories. And it is that we then get to share with the world. James goes on to say, the Roman philosopher Horace says, adversity has the effect of soliciting talents which in prosperous times would have laid dormant. Right? I kind of know what he's talking about there. You know, when we are in that flow and we are just kind of experiencing great peace and joy and wonderful, thrilling life, and we're like, there's really not that much growth happening in that space. It feels wonderful, and I love it, but there's not a whole lot of growth that comes from it, right? So I think that's really what Horace was speaking of, because there's so much creative juice and inventive force that takes place when push comes to shove for that to happen. So he says, we rarely experience our true greatness unless we are pushed to the brink in order to achieve it. The greatest motivational college basketball coach of all time, Joan Wooden, said, don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can do. I love that. Love that. So the real lesson in life then is to embrace that mess. Realize the magic's in the mess and that it's really not a mess at all. It's life. And we're all here to live it. We're all here to do it together. And one of the wonderful, beautiful things that we get to do on a Sunday morning is come together and celebrate that and take a look at it and discern how we feel about things and allow that to guide and direct us into what Art shared this morning about. It's all about the quality of the choices that we're making, the quality of the decisions that we're making. Because we know that beyond anything else, other than who's in charge, because I've got some classmates in here this morning. So who's in charge? We are, right? And it is all because it is done unto us as we believe. It is done unto us as we believe. You know, we could start almost every single Sunday lesson with, it is done unto us as we believe, because everything else falls under that premise. And today is not any different than that. If we believe it, we will see it, we will experience it, we will attract it, yada, yada, yada. So if you see it as a mess, how are we going to experience it? As a mess. If we see it as magic in the mess, how are we going to experience it? Magic in the mess, you betcha. So many people look forward to setting New Year's resolutions. And as I mentioned before, I really don't think it's about the resolution. It's not about the resolution for me. I know that if I were to go and set some New Year's resolutions within a week, they would most likely be dissolved and shattered. Because as I said, it's external. It's usually for external validation. It's usually coming from the mental, the mind. It just doesn't resonate with me at all anymore. But intentions do. And we're going to get into that now. So there's something about setting that intention that I think is most important before the end of the year. And that's why we're talking about it today. You know, the power in setting our intentions and having that carry us forward through the next brilliant baby new year that we're getting ready to birth is psychologically and emotionally and energetically preparing for it. So we're going to talk about this morning. We're going to psychologically, emotionally, and energetically prepare for that. Through doing these things, we're going to reflect and celebrate the year that has passed. We're going to release thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve us, set clear intentions for the year ahead, and invite the powerful energy of attraction through our relationship with the divine to manifest those intentions. We are in partnership with the divine always. It's just me today, God's got it tomorrow. It's not that at all. We are in partnership every single moment with the divine, and as we enter into spiritual maturity, we understand that in such a way that every breath we are breathing with God. And through that partnership, folks, creates the most profound life and intentions that you could ever imagine. So what we're going to do is we're going to reflect on our intentions from this year. We're still in 2015, and in order to set that energy, we are going to reflect on our intentions from this year. Have you achieved what you set out to accomplish in the last 12 months? Energetically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, doesn't matter. But let's just take a moment, go back through the last 12 months, and take a moment to tick some off. You know, I've got some that I can resolutely say, yes, thank you, God, yes. Are there any that you could resolutely say, yes, thank you, God, yes? And some of them were definitely birthed through the magic of the mess for me. But I can say yes today. I can say yes. What about you? Just take a moment. Next question. Did you live in alignment with your true intentions and priorities? And remember, this is just to set the energy and the tone. There is absolutely no judgment here. It's all about entering into the space of clarity, entering into the space of learning a little bit more about yourself, embracing a little bit more about yourself, understanding yourself a little bit more so that you can set clear intentions for this year. And I heard somebody say yes over here to that one. Yes. Did you live in alignment with your true intentions and priorities? And I can say mostly, most of the time, I did. But the next question is, if not, why? And that's a super important question. If not, why? Because whatever that why is what we need to embrace and work with in our next step. So it's a super important question. So if there were any if nots, then go ahead and take a moment to bring up to your conscious awareness any whys. And just be gentle with yourself. It's quite all right if some of those whys are, well, they didn't do it this way, and they didn't, it's okay if it's outside of yourself. It's okay if it's inside of yourself. I didn't really believe in myself enough, or I didn't really practice enough of my spiritual practices that led me to a unification with the divine, so I had this sense of separation. It can be any of that or more. The next question, what valuable personal and professional lessons have you learned this year? Just hold that in consciousness, bring that up. We're setting energy. We're establishing a connection on purpose for the quality of our decisions that we're making today. And maybe in this moment, from those answers of those questions, you may feel proud and powerful for making courageous choices, for walking through that fire and coming out on the other end. Or you may be feeling a little frustrated, maybe notice some outdated continuing patterns that cropped up that you might not have been aware of in the moment, but you're being aware of it now, which, by the way, is something to celebrate. All of it is perfectly okay. And I also suggest for the rest of this morning to remove any internal censoring that may be going on for you. It's not a part of the process. You know, we can rest in Napoleon Hill's wisdom that says every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. And I believe it's always a greater benefit. So just go ahead, take in your answers to all three of those questions. Have you achieved what you set out to accomplish? Did you live in alignment with your true intentions and priorities? And if not, why? And what valuable personal and professional lessons have you learned? So now comes a really fun part, is we get to release thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve you. So on the answer to that question, if not why, this is where you want to really look at that and decide, do you want to let that go? Do you want to let it go so that it no longer impacts or affects your decision making or your lack of decision making? This is the time where you get to review all the things that you don't want. I will very rarely ever ask you to bring to mind that which you don't want. But right now, it's purposeful. So I want you to bring to mind all of the things that you don't want any more of in your life. And go ahead and list them off in your head. Go ahead and bring them up, list them off. Because we are releasing ourselves from that. We've got to be able to know it and see it, proclaim it, embrace it so that we can release it. Because if we do the slalom thing and just avoid it, it is going to continue to come up for us. But if we say, okay, I've looked at this year, there's a few things that I definitely want to release. And I kind of did okay with that one, but I really want to let it go. Let it go completely. So this is the conversation you may be having in your head right now. What experiences and emotions may be holding you back or may feel like they're holding you back from moving forward in your life. We bless those. They got us right here. They got us to this point. But I am a different person today than I was yesterday, and I may be at the point where I'm willing to let those go. I'm willing to stare them straight in the face and say, no, I don't need you to hold me back anymore. I'm ready. I am ready to step forward. Can we go to the next slide? So here is a little affirmation. I release all things from the past year that has caused any negative attachment. I prepare and welcome new changes, new lessons, and new adventures. I welcome new opportunities to grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So I think it's really important to acknowledge the fact that at this moment, it's okay to be ready to release those things. And at this moment, it's okay to be grateful and to celebrate how they showed up in our life this past year because, like I said, it got us to this point. It served a purpose, whatever that purpose may have been. But now we're ready to release it. Next slide, please. Now, I love this because you know how we all feel about those resolution diets at the beginning of the year. But this is a little bit of a different resolution diet. This fits my intention. The elimination diet is to remove anger, regret, resentment, guilt, blame, and worry, and then watch your health, light, and life improve. And I guarantee you, folks, that's the truth. If at any point in these questions that I asked, judgment came up for you, judgment or criticism, there is a powerful way to affect our life for the good if we were to 100% give up judgment of all kind. Judgment. All judgment. All judgment of ourselves and others. And just focused on who we are and who we choose to be. Just focus on your intentions and let everything else fall away. Because that is not our job. It is not our job to judge ourselves or other people, by the way. It's not our job. Might as well just let it go. So do you all feel released? Have you been given good opportunity to release that which is coming up for you to let go of before we enter into setting the energy and of intention setting? Do you all feel fairly released? Do you need to do like a little shaky or a little dance or a little, yeah. Why don't we just all do that? Visual release. Letting it go. Letting it go. All right, now we're ready. Woo! Woo! Setting that clear intention for the year ahead. Now remember, we are entering into this energy and this space as a partnership with Spirit. So whatever the divine is to you, the God of your understanding, the God of your choice, the divine energy of your own feeling, I invite you to now go within and connect with that energy and feeling of the divine within you. Because we are partnering with Spirit. So I invite us to establish and set into motion the energy of intention around 5 things. 6 things. Your health, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a health goal, but if that works for you, great. But a health goal can be any kind of fitness or dietary habit, or it can be very general, like I tune into my body wisdom and make choices that nourish and support every cell in radiant health. Number 2, your wealth. Your wealth intention can be a very specific desire. It could be specific regarding your career, regarding your finances. Of course, wealth to me incorporates all of life and not just finances. I am wealthy in loving relationships. I am wealthy in support from the universal infinite intelligence and also all of the people and animals and all of the species in the universe. We can have a very general wealthy statement, like I recognize my innate ability to experience an abundance of money, time, and love. Number 3, your relationships. And a relationship goal will be more powerful if you can focus on how you want to feel instead of how you want someone else to change or act. You see the difference there? So let's keep it within ourselves and focus on how we want to feel, regardless of how anybody around us is behaving or acting. For example, I love being in satisfying, loving, and nurturing relationships. Or I am attracting the perfect companion for me by being the kind of mate I want to attract. Or I'm so happy and grateful now that all of my relationships are thriving and astonishing me every day with their highest and best. I like that one. Number 4, your personal enrichment. I would say this is probably the most important one. because it feeds your soul, it feeds your heart, it feeds your mind. And a good way to know what your personal enrichment intention might be is to think like this, to feel through it like this. If you had all of the time, if you had all of the money, if you had all of the freedom you could ever want, how would your personal enrichment show up in your life? A personal enrichment intention could also look like, I love investing myself in taking classes or being of service. It can also look and feel like that too. And now we take all of those. We just take a nice long deep breath in as we have created that energy, and we're ready now to choose a theme for 2016. Now that you've reflected on those intentions and how you feel about those different areas, now I'm going to invite you to choose a theme. What's coming up for you? What feels right? What's a theme that reflects on where you've been and where you want to go? Could be a feeling that you'd like to experience more of, and that could be your theme. And then your affirmation is that you are attracting all of the elements and conditions and experiences and people into your life that assist you in engaging in that feeling. Your theme could very well be about any one of those different topics that I mentioned. It could be a theme of health or relationship or personal empowerment. So does everybody kind of have a theme? Is everybody good? Does anybody need more time? Do you have any kind of theme bubble up for you? It's okay. It doesn't have to be written in stone right now. It can be just a hint of something that now you've got some time to work with and allow it to come up further in greater clarity for you. But now that we're all kind of pointing in that direction of what's come up for us regarding a theme, now is the time that we want to invite the powerful energy of attraction to manifest our desires, our intentions, to bring about our theme for 2016. So let's go to slide number 8. This is completely true, folks. Miracles start to happen when you give as much energy to your dreams as you do to your fears. Okay? Come over here and give these people a chance to see it. Miracles start to happen when you give as much energy to your dreams as you do to your fears. You know, I was in a class this fall that was really powerful. And a part of that class is we had what was called these promise pages that we needed to present to our team, and we were held accountable for it each week. And a part of those promise pages is we had to list all of our miracles from the week, and we had to pick out one miracle that stood out above all the others and explain why we picked it out. Now, I was delightfully impressed that every week that went by, how my list of miracles kept literally getting longer and longer and longer. And it was so much fun to go through that activity of listing all of my miracles from that week. And we're talking some miracles, y'all. I mean, I got to experience things that at one point in my life I thought was never ever going to happen. So it was really cool. But the really cool part about that was picking one out and then explaining why. Why was that the biggest miracle from that week? So can you imagine what this week is going to look like for you if you needed to turn in a list of all of your miracles next Sunday and then tell us what was the most profound one and why? What would we be focusing our attention and energy on? Miracles. And even if we did find ourselves in a mess, what would we find in that mess? Magic. Because we will find a miracle in that mess. If our job is to list miracles, you better believe we will. So I invite us. I know that you already live in that way. I know that because I know most of you quite well and personally. And this is a room full of miracle people here. I'm telling you. Let me be the first to acknowledge that. But there's something about this, folks. You know, we don't stop living once we've realized a greater truth or once we've learned how to make good quality decisions that point our life in a direction that allows us to accomplish our intentions so much greater. We don't stop living. Life continues. We continue to give birth to greater experiences and greater opportunities to show up as the divine being that we are. So wherever you are in your spiritual journey, look for the miracles. Write them down. Celebrate them. Tell other people about them. You know, it's not in a bragging kind of way. It's not like, look at what I pulled off. You didn't pull anything off, by the way. It was the divine in partnership with you, and you being open and willing to receive it is what happened. And so we are creating the energy to go into 2016 with our intentions poised and ready. And that's what we're doing right now, in partnership with Spirit. So we are becoming more and more receptive, open, ready, partnering with the divine to enter into our intentions and have that powerful, juicy recipe cooking in our lives right now. That's what we're doing today, this morning. So list those miracles. Can we go to the next slide? The universe is asking, folks, show me your new vibration and I will show you miracles. That's what we're doing. Right now in this moment, we are choosing to direct our creative energy through our conscious awareness, and we are raising the vibrational alignment of who we are and who we want to be. We're raising that to match our intentions. And what does the universe say to everything that we deliver into it? It says yes, yes. So we raise our vibration today, and the universe is going to show us miracles. I promise you. The universe message from this week on December the 23rd was perfect. It said this: truth be told, no matter how logical or intuitive you are, neither of these virtues, no matter how greatly you are endowed, will ever enable you to peer into the future and reasonably predict the twists and turns your life may take, nor the circumstances, fortunes, and friends that might someday be your own. It is, in fact, impossible. That's what imagination is for, says the universe. Thoughts become things. So the universe says, how's that new year looking? That's what we're doing right now. We're employing our imagination to the creative flow and juices of our intentions. And we're having it come from within, because that's the only place where it can be true. That's the only place where it can be truly, authentically ours. And that's the only place where it can come from to where it truly brings itself into manifestation. Partnering with Spirit. Next slide, please. Oh, here's our Rumiism for the day. May I find the real and give it endlessly away. May I grow rich and fling gold to all who ask. May I live at the empty, radiant heart of paradox and dance there always with you, cheek to cheek. Next slide, please. This is an important slide. It has a lot to do with my personal intention for 2016. Appreciation and self-love are the most important aspects you could ever nurture. Appreciation of others and the appreciation of yourself are the closest vibrational matches to source energy of anything we have ever witnessed anywhere in this universe. So could you go to slide 17, please? This is what we're going to end with this morning. This slide right here. And I'd like for you to all take a nice long deep breath in. I want you to open your minds, your hearts, your souls, the very center of your being as I speak these words. You are a beloved of the universe. You are as beautiful as the sunrise and as ancient as the stars. You are a spark of divine love in human form. Through you, goodness and light flow into this world. Bless you. So folks, this morning we have been given the opportunity to energetically state the level of our vibrational alignment to our intentions as we enter into this new year. We've been able to get rid of and release anything, any old negative attachments, any old behavior, thought patterns, beliefs, false ideas. Let them go. This is a whole new moment and a new experience. It doesn't have any power over us as long as we choose it to be that way. And so by releasing that, taking a look at what the last year, where we were, how we stood, anything that came up for us, we get to release, make that decision, and then we got to look at a few aspects of our life. And we got to go within and discern, how do we feel about that? How do we feel about our health, our relationships, our personal empowerment? We got to set the energetic vibration for that, moving into a greater sense of alignment with the universe. And now we get to just list those miracles as we move into this new week. And so I invite all of us, in partnership with the divine, to pay attention, to be consciously aware, knowing completely and fully that we are a divine spark, just as beautiful as the sunrise and just as ancient as the stars, meaning we are partnered with all of the infinite intelligence and wisdom that has ever been and ever will be. So we are completely supported in absolutely any authentic, real intention that is being birthed from the very center of our being. Folks, God's got this, and we deserve it. We are valued and we are valuable. We are precious, precious children of the divine. And we are here to soar. We are here to be radiant. We are here to grow and evolve. And we're here to see the magic in the messes. This is the truth. For this, I am incredibly, eternally grateful. And so it is.